morning. Thank you for joining us. Happy New Year, and thank you for staying tuned. We really appreciate you. I pray this year is prosperous for us all. I'm your host for today. My name is Mariam Owodone. You can join us on all our social media at OSBC TV and Osun State Broadcasting Corporation. Our start time is 113 and Free TV 502. Good morning once again. I have comrade Larry Father here with me in the studio this morning. He's a veteran journalist. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, Nigerians.
Thank you for joining us.
Happy New Year to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. This morning, sir, we are discussing the 3 petroleum refinery being in operation in Nigeria, and what should we Nigerians expect?
Thank you, Miriam. I believe the government should normally have programs set in place to try to make things better each year, year in, year out. However, by my assessment, we need to look at how it has been to be able to say effectively whether we have done well or otherwise. To my mind, I think we should declare an emergency on oil and gas industry because it appears to be a crime scene we have not been able to nib in the bud. It is reported officially that Nigeria spent $18.7 billion on petroleum imports from 20 countries in 1 year. $18.7 billion is just like $2 billion less to build a refinery from foundation to finish. So if that is what the country is going to borrow in 1 year as its total borrowing, that want to face construction of a refinery that will function from start to finish. Those ones we have been wasting money on have not been functional enough. Nigeria is the owner of the crude oil that we want to refine. And so why are we importing finished products from countries, if indeed those 3 refineries have been functionally and effectively serving Nigerians? One, it tells us that the 3 refineries put together have not been able to meet the domestic needs of Nigeria as a nation. It will interest you to know, Miriam, that of the 20 countries that Nigeria imported petroleum products, finished products from, there are African countries there. We imported from Togo. We imported from Tunisia. And the belief we were given when they said subsidy was gone is that so that our coastal neighbors will not be enjoying and benefiting cheaper petroleum products than us as a nation. So how do you explain us now taking from those countries? It tells us there is a lot that is enmeshed in the murky corruption that we need to really sit down and talk. Now, if indeed, and I have not seen anyone controvert that story because it was published in newspapers, that we have spent over $18.7 billion importing products in 1 year. And to start to finish a refinery, go look for information about it. You need just about $20 billion. So why are we now having that as a recurring decimal? The 8 years of President Muhammadu Buhari, we've had that issue. The almost 2 years now, that's about 10 years. And it took Dangote just about that to start and finish a refinery as an individual and a group of friends maybe. But along the line, it's looking like some of those group of friends are actually people who are exposed in government. So it is to an average mind trying to find the solution to the oil and gas problem that it looks like it's a deliberate act by some people.
Interesting. Sir, this is a new year, and we Nigerians, we don't want, in quotes, we don't want the shege we faced last year. And from your experience, what can you say we need to change? What can we do better as Nigerians now? Because we don't want that last year.
I knew it was going to come. And when they said they were agreeing to the 70,000, the organized labor is now saying that 70,000 is no longer realistic. Because from day one, I have known that it is not possible to make any changes. The worst you could have negotiated was that government, if indeed the subsidy is gone and the flotation of the forex is to make sure that our coastal countries are not getting better benefits of our products, then you should have looked at what was the value of 30,000 when it was implemented, about $125. So if indeed you want to just cross Nigerians across to the other side, then you would have said, okay, the minimum wage should just be $125 by value of its naira, which is far more than, is about over 125,000. You understand? Even if you are just crossing it that way, now you are $40. That 70,000 is just what, about $40. So definitely the Shege is part one. It's a season film. No, if we want to pretend, well, people they have their choices to do so. When the said minimum wage was agreed to, there were several promises. We'll make sure food becomes cheap and but do you know why we imported through Togo and the rest of them? Because the cost of shipping and other things to our coastal neighbors is cheaper than to us. So even our government knows it's better to ship products through those countries, which means if you ship rice through those countries and allow it to enter Nigeria free, rice should be about 30,000-40,000 naira. So if people want to sincerely look at, and it's not because we are trying to, well, we want our lives back. We want to be able to feed our families. Some people are so look, the rich are crying. If you're a rich man, you have 1, 2, 3 million that you can spend some 1-2 years ago. Conveniently, you can take care of some things. But let me tell you, if you're a rich man, you are living in Osun for Lagos, and you want to drive your SUV that is like a V6 or V8, you need averagely 120,000 to go to Lagos and back to fuel your car. And these are things you do just like that with 30,000, and you just go see people come back. The following day, you can even go because of your business. That business, you want to gain maybe 500,000, working it in 5 days. But if you have to go to Lagos twice, that 500,000 is gone. So, I mean, it's needless. So you have to sit down and watch what happened to us. As a nation. It's not the government. We can't say they hate us in their positions, but there are things. Jonathan decided to do certain things. He looked at the policies, we criticized the policies, and he looked back and recanted. It happened during the days of Yaradua, and we don't think it's impossible for the president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to, in 2025, look at some of these policies. Who does it hurt in government if we open the borders of Cotonou to allow rice and other things to come in and competitively allow Nigerians a lease of life? I mean, who does it hurt? Is it Mr. President? In most cases, people in government, that's the reality, do not buy rice when they are holding public office. In Nigeria, in other countries, you spend from whatever income the nation pays you to take care of your basic domestic needs. When the American president wants to host guests in the government house, in the White House, is when the government pays for his food. Other times, he bears the brunt. I heard the vice president, the wife of Obama at least, say that, look, there was a day Barack ate fish with the Chinese president on account of the government of America. But the other time he mentioned to his chef that, look, I love that fish. And they brought the fish from China because the guest was from China. So he asked for fish from China, and they gave him the bill the next time he took it. I said, it's not even that sweet again. So we have to change our orientation, get off our high horses, know that the poor are suffering. It's speaking about that. Am I saying if life is better, it's going to be for me and my own family alone? It's for everybody. It's for everybody, but the situation where we are eating basmati rice, we don't care how much the price, we can afford it, and then we are now telling citizens, the common one, that you can just put little oil on top and go where you want to go, that you should still be suffering to get it. We have not gotten there, but it's a new year, and people make New Year resolutions. So before they go far in the year, that's why we are coming straight to say, look, it's not about you. We are not asking you not to be rich again. We are not saying you shouldn't be billionaires. But remember these people, that this is a commonwealth of all Nigerians. Let's look at how we can manage it. In some countries, you can factor what each citizen gains. So if they say every Nigerian should get 20,000 naira from the oil and gas gate, then it means Dangote will take his own 20,000 naira. Yes. Even if he's a billionaire, That is what we are talking about. So that the way I will use mine, you may not even see your own because you don't even need such things, but it will still come to you, Miriam. But until the day we start thinking that way, as a nation, we can't go forward. And the sad part is that it encourages anarchy. It starts with self-immolation, which is a situation where it happened in the Arab Spring. A young man was trying to trade and sell, and they felt he was embarrassing that place, and they harassed him and beat him up, and they said, you are disgracing us. And he poured petrol on himself and burnt himself. And that's what removed most governments in most of the Arab nations then. Are we going to wait till then? It happened during NSAS. Has our government learned? If we are talking about NSAS, President Tinubu was not in power then. But end bad governance. You saw people carrying the flag of Russia because Russia was supporting nations that were doing coup. Are we saying we should go that way too? So if people are speaking up now, it's because we don't want to go that route. We don't want a military coup, but that's why we are telling our political leadership, you can't be fat, wearing gadu, and telling us to tighten our belt when we are hungry. That's just we are begging people to have a change of heart, because this is the moment of self-reflection, that we look at our lives, what impact have we made to the life of the common man.
Sir, let's believe this is a new year.
Yes, it is.
And we should believe that things are going
to change.
Okay. So what role do you think the government should play in supporting the development of new refineries?
First and foremost, I think the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, our own person, because first and foremost, the Yoruba man, before you became a Nigerian, you must belong to a tribe before you are factored as a member of a nation. That as Yoruba people, that he is our leader. We should do things differently. As today, representing the likes of Awolowo is Bola Tinubu. And so we should do things differently. We should, as a nation, take care of our citizens, devoid of where they come from. Mr. President should call people together, those candidates of other things, and sit them down and say, this is an emergency, let's look at it. Let's forget about the next election, because statesmen talk about the next development and growth of the nation. Politicians talk about the next election. Let's not be politicians anymore. Let's talk about, as statesmen, how can we move Nigeria forward? Nigeria had first television station in Africa. Even first, before most European nations, through the likes of Awolowo. It was not oil and gas money that built Cocoa House. It was what we had. But greed made some people, some other time, a story for that. But some people decided, okay, let's look at this oil and gas and appropriate it to ourselves. If you look at those who are management people in the oil and gas industry in Nigeria, they are from a section. If you look at those who are owning oil wells, by a percentage almost 70, 80%, and those who are the real owners, why must you look at that and think my own wealth is mine and their own wealth is ours? That's the first injustice. You must talk about restructuring, you must talk about resource control, and also of that. But first and foremost, this oil and gas thing, let our president call everybody together and tell them, I want us to solve this once and for all. During the media chat, I was surprised people did not engage Mr. President effectively on the Malta story, wherein we are importing from Malta, and for a period of time over like 2017, well, 7 to about 17 or thereabout, nothing was coming from Malta. All of a sudden, it grew up. So when a Dangote was saying private individuals who are exposed at the NNPC level and the governmental level are the ones who are doing that, they can't allow our own refineries to function well. So it's business as usual. If we own oil, as the president, okay, I'm factoring this percentage of the oil we every day that we mine get from our soil every day. This percentage is for domestic consumption. So we are not going to cost it at all as we have sold. How can we own oil and we are saying, okay, this is the cost of our oil? Then we factor it to the cost of PM. PMS is not supposed to be more than 300 naira, and that is the reality. What if God, that owns the whole world, decides to lock that stand? You understand? Let's assume it's a tap. I mean, the oil is coming as a tap. If God locks that tap, can we force him to give us oil?
No.
Then we look elsewhere.
Yes.
So we should start doing that now. And then that oil too, the government should not see it as we are going to lose money if we allow Nigerians to enjoy this oil that God has given all of us. This oil percentage of maybe 144,000 barrels a day, refine it, let's take it to Nigerian filling stations, let Nigerians buy petrol at 300 naira. There is aviation fuel that will come from the same crude oil. There is a diesel that will come from, PMS is what moves cars around and all the rest. That's one, we are not going to factor cost of oil into it. Let Nigerians buy free and pay me 300,000-400,000 maximum per litre. Even 400 is much. Maximum 300 naira per litre based on the current economic indices that we have. Well, it might look strange and difficult, but the truth is, it's just telling people to get off their high horses and allow Nigerians a breath of life.
Yes, it's important. We need a breath of life. When it comes to environmental concerns, because I know where these refineries are located, there are people living in that area.
Yeah.
What measures should be taken to minimize the environmental impact of the refineries?
Thank you very much. Those who are mining oil in those oil-rich areas over the years have not been good. That is not a problem of Tinubu administration. We must be clear with facts. There is oil spillage. If you bore a hole and you want to bring water out with a rig, you know how water gushes out.
Yes.
That happens in every community where they have refineries. I mean, where they have oil wells. So those communities, the ecology, the environmental degradation is high. Fish cannot swim in water that is oil infested. But then, at the end of the day, when companies doing this mining give you their records, they say, okay, for oil spillage, we have given this much in billions of dollars for those communities. But those things don't populate to the communities. It doesn't show. And that's the sad part. So those who own the end that lays the golden egg are actually suffering because they are just looking at the golden egg. They don't even know what it's used for. And they own the hen. That's the injustice in the oil and gas sector that people were talking about. Shell paid, they sued Shell at some point in time, and they had to pay, some costs for the oil spillage. But over time, those communities have suffered, all of those communities have suffered hugely from what has happened to their community. If you remember Ken Saro-Wiwa, he died for that cause in the days of the military. That look, you cannot do all of this to our place, and our place is looking like a bush, like a village that it is. But if a village is wealthy, look, you need to see stories of what Dubai was in 1990. Everybody is now quick to grab and snatch money from Nigerian resources and move to Dubai to go and do business now. It's leadership. So we have to have the leadership orientation that looks at how can we, this is the advocacy I have now as a duty and a role to play, that Nigeria, the day Nigeria gets governance right, Nigeria will take Africa high above any and compete with the international world. But if Nigeria fails in its bid to get it right, then Africa would be kept stagnant. And that's why we are talking about this, that look, Mr. President became the leader of ECOWAS almost immediately, and you understand, because they believe that with population, with the human capital we have, they're celebrating Okonjo-Iweala today because she is a woman that drives capacity. We have an additional at the Bank of African Bank, Development Bank. A lot of Nigerians like that. Let's forget the moment we are here. Let's call in eggheads, not minding where they are from, not minding, so that we can take Africa out of this dodo. African leadership, all of a sudden, we discovered in some nations, have been led by the military because it likes the political class have not functioned them well, served them well. We shouldn't be looking that way. The political class has the strongest duty of care to serve these people. And so we are begging. It's the new year, because this is a time of sober reflection that people can sit down. You can tell them, okay, I'm on break for the new year. Let me sit, reflect on how I've served the people. And the two policies, if it's revised a little, changes things. I mean, do we need dollar to grow yam or beans or whatever we need to, cassava, we don't need dollars to plant and grow these things. So why must dollar determine our lifestyle? The CBN was thinking with the idea, maybe we should say let's ban it. If you enter Cotonou today with 100 million naira,
you change it to sefa.
You change it to sefa, but you cannot bring $1, they'll seize it. They will seize it from you. Do you understand? So why can't we? That's why that country depends largely on people coming from outside to buy from them.
There are even some part of Badagry that still spend that sefa.
So but sefa that was like 4 times lower than our currency is 4 times better now. It's gained traction in the positives against us. So I mean, that means we have some policies that are not working.
They are not serving us well.
They are not serving us well. We can't change them. Laws are made for men, not men for laws. If you can't rule the waves, you waive the rules. Let's look at these two policies. It has not helped us. We are seeing fluctuation of the forex, thinking it will just keep it at 750. The black market when Buhari was leaving was 700, 750. The official rate was about 350, 400. So if we left even at 450 official rate, and suddenly we said we are floating, it went to 700, and it's taking 1.6, 1.5 to $1. We can't run an economy on that. We just tell dollar, look, we are Nigerians, we don't need you. China got it right, because China said, if you want to do anything, you must come and produce them here. We have population to buy your products, but you can't bring finished products into our country. That way they don't need dollar. They will tell you what you pay like $8 per hour for in the United States in those days. China will pay $1 per day to a Chinese person that will collect that $1 in yen, and that yen can take him through the week. What he earns in a day can take him through the week. So it will be like, oh man, this is enough.
Even in India, when you bring dollars, they will tell you to pay in rupees.
You pay in rupees because it's not their currency. India took everything from the international world, like us. They were colonized by it, but they took everything. They did not take their culture. They did not take their religion. You understand? You do tell things and keep yourself as yourself. We lost our identity the moment we decided to allow those cultural values of theirs. A lot of nations across are watching Nigeria, because when money gets stolen in Naira here, they convert to those foreign currencies and move it to those countries. It's capital flight, and we don't want to understand it. And it's now the people who are the poor masses that are suffering the health. We need to change certain things. It is not because we hate who is in power, but we believe it can. Look, they should call the down community together and discuss the issue of Nigeria is a nation of great potentials, and we must harness these potentials to the fullest. It's a new year. That's why we have to start the new year this week and talk directly to the people that we need a change of orientation.
We need a change of orientation. It is very, very important. As people, we need to change our perspective and mindset.
And we must continue to emphasize it. We love our government. At the federal level, we love our president, we love our ministers. At the state level, we so much love Mr. Governor in Osun. We love all the governors of Nigeria and their commissioners, and we are just telling them, Nigerians have been mistreated. It didn't start with President Tinubu. It's not the cause of it. Nigerians have been cheated. It is not Tinubu's handiwork. None of the governors called it. But when are we going to be loved? That is the question.
When are we going to be loved? Are there plans for future expansion or development of the refineries?
I said something at the beginning, Miriam. I said, from start.
Because we can't continue this.
No, you don't get. From start to finish. Even when we said we have spent money on the refineries, we have had to export finished products to the tune of $18.1 billion, which is able to start and finish a refinery of our own. So that way, Nigeria can conveniently compete with Dangote's own too and produce products at optimum level. Those refineries you are talking about, we spend money on them every day. People earn income on it even when it's not producing anything, as workers, as a management team and all. And what it can produce cannot meet the domestic needs of Nigeria. So why don't we look at one new one, just one, from start to finish? And in the process of that, we now start looking at if products can come from Togo, maybe some can come from Republic of Benin, let them come in. The impression we had was that we don't want our products from our refineries cannot even serve us. We have said it repeatedly. The modular refineries, stop destroying them. Go and find out the products they do. Yes, they are criminals. Don't make them criminal elements anymore. What about their product? Their kerosene, is it good? Does it combust normally as it should? Their petrol, it does not spoil cars. Okay, we'll give you crude oil. So you can give us 200 gallons of petrol every day. Let it serve your local government. Your own modular refinery, let it serve we'll give you oil. That oil that comes, just pay chinkini to government boss so that we know your faces, we know, and then those who are stealing Nigerian oil, they steal it every day. And you see, there's metering. We have all the our leaders have all the technologies in the world that is recently developed in their homes, in their companies for security purposes, but we cannot think of metering our oil for some reasons. What are the reasons? These are the questions we should start asking ourselves as a nation.
Thank you very much, sir. Comrade Larry Fadausi. I believe this is a new year and the government are on top of it. We are going to, joy is coming, I believe so. For we Nigerians, joy is coming. Let's believe so, and I believe so.
And we want to believe joy is coming because crying has endured all night. That joy that is coming for this year, for us, for our leaders, for the governments at different levels, by God's grace, that joy will come and they will be instrumental to making it come.
They should be instrumental to making it come.
We have prayed, we have believed God that they will be, that heart will be touched. They will have, our religious leaders should also be amplifying that now. That you have been placed there by God for us. Let it work for us. And you too.
Not against us.
No, some people are complaining that, look, some political class, 160 million for a vehicle, it's good. That's the kind of vehicle that big people should like. But for us too, let it work as it's working for you, let it work for us too.
And I believe it's going to work for
that will happen. Because
I know there are governments that listen to the people.
There are governments,
and they have
we love them.
Yes.
We love them, and that's the bottom line.
They are going to listen to us. Joy, so we should relax. Joy is coming. It is very, very important. So on a final note, sir, I want you to tell Nigerians.
I appreciate Nigerians at all levels for their resilience. If you are looking for a people that can adapt, I don't know how people get by with the changes that are happening in the last 2 years. I don't know it. It's painful, it's difficult, but I know it's anguish and painful. I will beg Nigerians to give the government a chance as they try to turn things around for better. But I appreciate Nigerians for their resilience. A lot of parents are unable to look their children in the face anymore. Because, look, I am, but I can't meet your needs. And there's no way you can explain to them what has happened to you. And so we thank them and we say they should be hopeful because the government is a government of hope at the federal level, is a government of hope at the state level. And they have done well. The federal government has done so well by trying to make sure there's fiscal freedom at local government level, that you can spend their money the way they want it in their local government. And they are not taking powers of the governors. Governors have the rights of leadership over local government. the state assemblies have the right to make laws that governs the local government, but the local government just need their fiscal autonomy so that the money of Ayedade will be spent on Ayedade. The money, we have seen it before, where people come from, you don't even know where, and they are the ones that will collect the allocation and say, we are going to work for you. They will not buy cement from the local government, they are doing projects, they will not buy steel, they will not do any, they will just enter like strangers and walk away with the wealth of that local government like strangers. This fiscal autonomy that the federal government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu is doing is wonderfully well for the local governments, and our governors who mean well for development at the grassroots level will not oppose it. They have the right, if you want to do projects that is more than this amount, the state assembly has made laws, you have to come to the state to get approval. That is still there. Nobody has taken that powers from them. But the local government will appoint people who will do the work for them within their own people, so that they will not be buying iron steel from some other place to use in the local government that owns the money. So these are the things we are talking about. The fiscal autonomy, that's the wonderful thing that the federal government is pursuing, and it's pursuing it vigorously, and it's not because they hate the governors. Mr. President said that just now, so I think that is a good one for Nigerians to be happy about in the new year. That Mr. President is saying, no, governors, we are not fighting you. You have the rights over your local government, but we are just giving them fiscal autonomy so that those developments will reflect in the rural areas.
And we can see that working for us in Osun State.
Everywhere in the world.
Thank you very much, sir. Comrade Larry Father Osun, he's a veteran journalist. Thank you once again for joining us in the studio this morning. I believe we Nigerians are going to enjoy this
year. By the end of the first quarter, I'm sure the president would have made policies that will make our lives better. I'm optimistic about that. And the point is, the engagement should be constant. The engagement should not be seen as these are enemies, and we should not use force of law and power to gag the opposition. Because if we don't allow the opposition give you vibrant, pulsating ideas that can move the nation forward, or because probably you think they're talking against your programs, it will not lead anybody to anywhere good.
And we should have all the best interest of Nigerians at heart.
Of Nigerians at heart.
Thank you.
Government of the people, by the people, for
the people.
For the people.
Thank you, sir. And a big thank you to all the crew members in the studio this morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mariam Owodone.